Hey neighbor, here we are the 1st of August. We got some things growing in the garden. Our sweet potatoes, birdhouse gourds. We got a late crop of tomatoes. We got some things going on. Not extremely busy, but the garden is growing. But I have encountered a particular problem with drip tape irrigation. And if you followed us very long, you know we're huge proponents of using drip tape. But I've encountered this problem. I figured out a solution and I want to share that with you today. This particular problem I'm talking about has to do with vining type crops, such as sweet potatoes, such as gourds, such as cantaloupes, watermelons, maybe winter squash. Anything that vines out a lot so we're not able to get back in there where that row is at and work that or fertilize it, this problem pertains to that. Well, here's our fertilizer injector. We recommend injecting your fertilizer in through your drip tape using this cool little connection right here that just hooks up water hose connections there. It takes 15, 30 seconds at the most to hook this thing up. You put your water soluble fertilizer in here and you inject and you feed your plants through the drip tape. What's wonderful about this is you can put out there on a regular basis, you can put out there exactly what you need. You can hit them quick, you can hit them often as you want to. It feeds that plant, the plant responds so much better, you grow off a healthier plant. But neighbor, what happens if you're getting a lot of rain and you don't need to turn that irrigation system on to deliver that fertilizer? Well, with plants like okra and tomatoes and corn like that that's not vining, it's an easy fix. You just go in there and take you a handful of granular fertilizer and broadcast it around them, and the rain will come in and wash it in. That's easy. But these vining crops is a different situation. So since I put my drip irrigation in on these sweet potatoes and these gourds, I may have used it 3 times. We have been in a wet season here. Rained just about every day. It rained last night. I may have used this 3 times when I first planted. The rain come in and set in, and it has rained, rained, and rained, and the weather forecast is calling for more rain. So I can't get nutrients to my plants here. So what I did was, a week and a half to 2 weeks before I plant this, I came in with my complete organic, and I incorporated this into my row where my plants was going to be. The complete organic works good because it's got a long release chain. It didn't release all at one time. So it's going to give that plant at its emergence some nutrients there, and it's going to feed it gradually all the way through. Now this is what else I did. Now right before my plant started running, when they was on that single here there, and I could still get in there to work them and to fertilize them, I went in there on both of these right here and I side dressed. Now side dress means I set that fertilizer about this far in a trench right next to that plant. We don't want to put it right next to the plant because we're going to burn it, but anywhere 5 to 6 inches away from that plant, I took my turning plow and I covered it up. But what I did is I did a banded application of an all-purpose fertilizer such as this all-in-one 10-10-10. Now this particular one here has your nitrogen, your potassium, and your phosphorus, but also has your minor elements in there as well. And that's the reason we call it all-in-one. And to be honest with you, I had no idea what the weather was going to do. I just got lucky. I decided to do that as an insurance policy to make sure my plants was going to have nutrients. I'm glad I did, because if I hadn't, I would have had a serious problem getting nutrients to my plant, because if I give my plants any more water, they're going to start showing signs of too much water, yellowing, and hurting my plants. I don't want to do that. Now this is the same schedule or same type method you would use if you're not using drip tape. You would use a pre-plant, come back in and bam before it starts running. That way if you do an overhead irrigation, you got it took care of. What you cannot do, or you don't need to do, is come in here and put fertilizer on top of these plants after they get like they are now, and then try to water it in, because you're going to get significant burn on those leaves from the fertilizer. So having that fertilizer underneath the plant there is the way to go. Now you can look at these birdhouse gourds here and tell they've had a lot of rain on them. They got a little bit of yellow cast to them, even though I fertilized them well. In hindsight, I might should have put a little extra than what I did, but I had no idea how much rain we was going to get. And I've got some downy mildew, a good bit of downy mildew on these gourds here. I've been treating them, but gourds are probably as good a crop as they are to recover from some type of injury. These things are really resilient. You can see there they're growing. I got fruit on the fence right there. So I'm not worried about these birdhouse gourds. I've done everything right. Even though I got some disease there, maybe not as green as I would like them, I'm gonna make one heck of a crop. I like to grow birdhouse gourds about every 3 or 4 years. Give them away to my friends to make some birdhouse out of them. Grandbabies love to, have projects to paint the birdhouse and all that, and I enjoy taking them and cleaning them out and getting holes drilled in them, and being able to give them people to to paint and do crafts, whatever, and I enjoy having that time with my grandbabies. My grandbabies love birdhouses. So that's the reason I'm growing birdhouses this year. Probably growing way more than what I can eat or give away, but I got a big crop of them. They're easy to grow once you get them going, and this time of year I don't have a lot else growing, and I just love seeing those things run, and heck, I got a good bit of fruit set already. Now my sweet potatoes is a different story. They're looking really, really good. And the reason is they don't take as much nitrogen as Gourds do. So when I put that last application of fertilizer on there, I had enough nitrogen for my sweet potatoes. Now they like a good bit of phosphorus and potassium. So hopefully I got enough there to set a really good crop. Sweet potatoes are drought resistant. Look, if you want to try a crop without drip tape in the summertime, sweet potatoes is probably going to fit that bill. Now I use drip tape, folks, as an insurance policy. What I mean by that is I put it down there, and if I need it, I got it, I can use it. If I don't, it's okay. You know, if it was to turn off really dry, that drip tape would help me make a crop here. But this year, like I've had, I've certainly not needed it. But being able to put that fertilizer underneath there has made the difference in this year's crop. So even though we love drip tape, being able to put our nutrients through that drip tape there, it does have its limitations, especially on a wet year. That's the reason I recommend, whether you need it or not, put you enough fertility underneath that plant before they start running so that you can have a situation where if it starts raining, you got enough nutrients there for that plant.